This is Reality Jukebox. Hi there, welcome back to realityjukebox.com.
Welcome.
You're welcome. Nice to see you, George.
Nice to see you, Ross.
Our topic this time, soundtracks. What's your favourite soundtrack?
Ooh, there's a couple. One has just come to mind for me, School of Rock, because it's stacked with rock classics. There's AC/DC, there's Stevie Nicks on there. There's so many classics. There's Led Zeppelin. It's a real kind of, the whole premise of the film, as you know, the School of Rock, there's a lot of classic rock references, and they, the music supervisor must have had a right old job clearing some of those tracks, because it's just full of classics. Yes,
music supervisor is just for those of you that not sure the terminology of music supervisor. Music supervisor has a very, very interesting job. Music supervisor will compile music for film, television as well, sometimes theatre, but mainly film and TV, or if music's used on a documentary as well, especially if it is outsourced music, which is basically music or songs that are going to be synced into a production. So you'll hear 10, 20 seconds or 30 seconds of a song underneath script or underneath a scene or whatever, not a score from a composer. Although they do work with composers as well. Yeah, it's a really, what a great job.
Perfect. Yeah. Again, I imagine it's very stressful, especially on, depending on your budget and how ambitious the project is. Yeah, it's not always a smooth process, is it? To kind of to clear things, especially
now with box sets, television box sets. And if you look back at probably the first box set, The Sopranos, what a soundtrack!
Yeah, well, even the opening theme, isn't it? It's just they really kind of set the standard there.
Yeah, I think so. So, your favourite soundtrack?
So, I think first comes to mind School of Rock. Notable mention, I think Shrek. Ironically, they have a great soundtrack. We've got Eels on there. We've got Accidentally in Love. There's a really nice montage. There's loads and loads of good, really good tracks in that film.
Proclaimers.
Yeah, Proclaimers, exactly. There's just so many.
They've done really well in films.
Yeah.
Their bunch of songs have done really, really well. They've been in a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Incredibly well, in fact. I'm sure they're very, very happy about that.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Absolutely. So for me, I think Shrek's a notable mention, but I really like School of Rock just for my own kind of personal interest. What about you? What's your go-to film soundtrack?
Oh, there's a few. There's actually a few. We won't talk about scores. We'll just talk about what the subject that we were talking about to get started.
Yeah.
I imagine that Pulp Fiction is one of them.
Nice.
It's interesting with Tarantino, what he does with his films. He's one of the few Hollywood or any film directors really that get, I'd say, passionately involved with the sync of music in their production.
Yeah,
all of his films have great synced music. I mean, in this film in particular, is Dick Dowell. The opening of the movie. So some of you who may not have still not seen this film, it's the opening of a movie. It's a couple in a diner, and they decide to rob the place, and then that's the intro of the film. So we're not giving the plot or anything away from the film. And as it cuts off into the credits, Dick Dowell and his Deltones start with this really great guitar. And it's just simply perfect for the film.
Yeah,
you're straight in.
Yeah,
it pulls you straight.
Absolutely, attention's hooked. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
all his soundtracks. Jackie Brown, the last movie that he did, the Charles Manson movie.
Oh, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, spot on.
I read somewhere that he used to before he became a film director, he used to making cassette tapes. For his friends, mixtapes, and I used to do it as well. Or people you loved. You would make mixtapes, which just very quickly before we come back to your favourite soundtracks, which would bring this on, which I brought in today, which some of you will know, which is this.
Another great soundtrack, Guardians of the Galaxy.
It is, and that's the first movie.
Yeah, Volume 1.
But who I don't know who directed that. And although it's it's a Marvel movie,
The soundtrack is exquisite.
it is.
There's a lot of good stuff. I'm sure you guys are all familiar.
It is.
Even the first track, as the film starts, it's just so much.
Yeah, Hooked on a Feeling. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of 70s retro stuff in there.
Yeah.
There's sort of the Raspberries. Eric Carmen, who wrote All by Myself, went on to do that. Go All the Way, who were huge in America, but never made it in the UK. But everyone knows the track.
Yeah.
Spirit in the Sky.
Yeah.
I Want You Back, great bass line. But it's so eclectic when you look at it.
Yeah.
Rupert Holmes, the Pina Colada song.
Classic.
How does that work? Yeah, I know. Marvin Gaye, Ain't No Mountain High Enough. So many different things on that.
Yeah.
But that's become a franchise in itself.
Yeah.
Because do you think, that's probably responsible for people sort of buying cassettes again? I've noticed cassettes are for sale.
Definitely. I think
rough trade.
We've had the whole kind of vinyl surge, and obviously with that's coming a sort of another vintage gear, and cassettes definitely making a comeback, which is quite ironic really, because
it is
the kind of polar opposites of vinyl in terms of quality, but people. I suppose people, in a digital world, something tangible and physical is always nice.
Must have released that on cassette. They must have done.
Definitely, yeah, absolutely.
Awesome Mix Volume 1. Brilliant. And of course in the movie, we've got Walkmans.
Yeah.
Sony Walkmans on there.
Yeah.
So
old
funny.
school, throwback. Yeah.
So going back to your favourite soundtracks.
Oh, so yeah, as I mentioned, School of Rock, talking about Shrek. What else do I really, really like that kind of hits me hard? Oh, we can't not mention Wayne's World. We can't, because obviously they had the iconic scene, in terms of sync sound, the Bohemian Rhapsody in the car, which in some ways is more, to a lot of people, they know that scene, but they don't know the film. That's kind of transcended the film in some ways.
Well, I heard somewhere that they didn't, they weren't going to. They didn't make the beginning part of the film till the very end because they weren't sure if Queen were going to give them permission to use the song.
Yeah.
And I remember at the cinema they showed the Queen video at the end of the film, at the very end of the movie, at the end of the credits. They showed the original Queen video as well. And that would have been, I think that movie must have come out around about the time Freddie Mercury died.
Yeah.
Or he passed on. So that must have been, and it was huge in America. So that really got, anyone that's not seen Wayne's World
Classic.
will know that clip at the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. In some ways, it's potentially got a wider reach than the film itself because it's good fun clip, but really set the standard. And scenes like that, just a massive track placed in a film, like a key moment, can really work wonders for a film. And it kind of makes me think of Shaun of the Dead and Queen again when they're in the bar and they're beating the zombie up with the snooker cues in time to "Don't Stop Me Now" by Queen. And again, it's a massive scene. Three of them beating up this guy with, snooker cues. And, it's all in time. The jukebox is on, Don't Stop Me Now is playing. And again, like a well-placed song at a crucial time in the film can work wonders.
Going back to Wayne's World, I used to like when they used to play Dreamweaver by Gary Wright. Whenever you used to see the female part of the girl part, Cassandra, and he'd sort of be like, he was probably on wheels, he couldn't see that, but they'd play Dreamweaver, and he would move completely sort of up to her, Yeah, Dreamweaver, never a hit in the UK, but huge in America.
Great shout, Wayne's World was a classic film.
Great choice.
Yeah.
Great choice. Both those films, the soundtracks to both of those films
are excellent.
They are, they are.
Bill and Ted, again, little reference, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures, talking of excellent, is an excellent soundtrack.
Yeah.
I digress.
Yes, very similar. Music in certain respects as well that they used.
Yeah.
Any other soundtracks?
Ooh. It's because it's not left field. I like a lot of rock. I'm not sure if it classes as a soundtrack as such, because a lot of the music, is diegetic. It's kind of performed in the film. But Whiplash, there are a lot of jazz standards in there.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And again, and they kind of integrated into the film, actually playing the music. But again, all the clearance has gone into that. Great acting, great soundtrack, you know, authentic jazz, great.
Oscar-winning film.
Yeah,
yeah,
really, really amazing.
We're not going to give the story away, folks.
No,
it's just well worth watching.
Yeah, exactly. What about you? What is your next? You kind of go to?
Well, there's lots of soundtracks, but we've pulled some out. Here's another one.
Nice, The Italian Job, for people listening on podcast.
Yes, the original Italian Job with Michael Bloody Caine. Yes, exactly. And
classic.
There's a great story. There's a great story behind this. A lot of people will know that, but some people don't. Who do you think was the producer of the music and the orchestrator on that?
Ooh. Put me on the spot here.
I mean, it's a very, very British film.
Yep.
Yeah, or European film.
Yeah.
It's not American at all. When they remade it,
yeah,
they didn't. It was an American movie. They remade it with Mark Wahlberg.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And you know the story was different.
Yeah, it wasn't quite the same.
It wasn't the same.
No.
It was a Hollywood movie. But this is a typically British film. I mean, even Noel Coward is in this film.
Yeah.
Mr. Bridger in prison. And,
yeah.
But the soundtrack, the songs, a lot of the playing, the orchestration. Who do you think was behind it?
I'm going to throw a name out because I'm not. George Martin.
No. It's Quincy Jones.
Quincy Jones.
Quincy Jones.
Oh, you know, I should have listened to the clues. Like, you're really hammering home it's British. I should have thought left field. Then you're pushing that.
Quincy Jones. We could have done that as a quiz, couldn't we?
Well,
but
Quincy Jones.
The soundtrack's really, really good. There is I think it's kind of Royal Britannia kind of thing with, I think it's him playing. I'm not sure, but it's on harpsichord. And when you think of some of the great stuff that Quincy Jones has done,
oh, so much,
all the great old rhythm and blues stuff,
yeah,
the jazz stuff, the band leading, the jazz funk stuff.
His work with Michael Jackson, you know, just
exactly
springs to mind.
Yeah, 3 Jackson albums, you know, and he's worked with all sorts of people or whatever. But he came over to the UK and did the Italian Job.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, he came over here, and he did that. Another great soundtrack that I really love, that I really like, is possibly this.
Trainspotting.
Yeah.
Classic.
Like Tarantino.
Danny Boyle.
Danny Boyle tends to, we believe, or what we know is, he also is well into music. If you look at some of his other soundtracks, not soundtracks but syncs basically. Slumdog Millionaire always comes to mind. Amazing soundtrack.
Yeah.
But Trainspotting was groundbreaking. When it came out, the soundtrack album.
Yeah.
I think it still sells now. People stream it and download it now.
Yeah.
And there's some interesting things on that because in the movie Atomic by Blondie is in the movie at the cinema. Down, 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 down. You know, the classic track, yeah. But on the soundtrack, it's the Britpop band Sleeper.
Ooh,
doing it.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. Those of you that have got the soundtrack will find that it's Sleeper and not Blondie. And these things happen.
Yeah.
These things actually happen when sometimes you can clear things for a film, but not actually get it on the soundtrack. But they did an okay version of it. I mean, really, the Blondie version. I think there was 4 releases of that originally. One's got a bass solo on it.
Yeah.
One's got something else on it. Just great.
Yeah.
Song.
Really kind of top. Yeah.
Yeah. And that soundtrack, just amazing.
It just, when I think of that, I think of that the Iggy Pop track.
Lost for Life.
Yeah, Lost for Life. Because even in the video, there's lots of footage from the film itself. Yeah, massive. And like you said, Danny Boyle, you know, is great with music. When I think of like the 28 Days and weeks later from the franchise, again, his use of music and that is so spot on. He's obviously very, you know, musically cued up.
Cares about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And also, if you remember the just coming away from film and TV, the Olympics opening that he did was full of music.
Yeah.
And got artists to perform as well.
So good.
Really believes in you know, and giving music people a chance.
And like it would have been really interesting.
Or exposure.
Yeah, slight detour. It would have been really interesting to see how the new Bond film would have looked had Danny Boyle stayed on the project. Because I know he left due to creative differences quite early on. But it would have been really cool to see, had he carried on and actually directed the film, what would, you know, his use of music would have been, the tone of it. You know, it was definitely got his own style.
Bond.
Because he was the director at the beginning of the project. But
That's right.
But there was creative differences was listed as, which could be anything.
It could have been the music.
Could have been use of music. Yeah.
I mean, the Bond, let alone the Bond movies being a franchise, the music is a franchise.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, the music is a complete franchise where you go back to the very original, and you have the theme.
Yeah.
You know, all those years ago, Monty Norman,
and John Barry.
You have that, and then John Barry getting involved, and then also the song from every movie.
Yeah.
You know, for any artist to do a James Bond film,
Big business.
Yeah, and
massive business.
It's huge esteem to to be
prestige.
able to do it. Yeah, that's right. It's the right word. Yeah, I think so. I saw the Jack White and
Alicia Keys.
Yeah, I saw that. I'd only heard it. I saw the video to it as well. It was for Quantum of Solace.
Quantum of Solace.
Yeah, it's great. Absolutely great.
Yeah, I really enjoy that one because it's quite raw sounding, and you can hear Jack White all over it on drums and guitar. With Alicia Keys' voice, they're not a pair that I would necessarily think of matching, but then there's something there.
But watching him play drums in the video is great.
Yeah, no, it's really, really good. Really, really clever. You know, really, really great song.
What's your favourite Bond song?
Well, I was going to say we could that could be its own podcast within it.
I think you're right.
But Alicia Keys and Jack White is definitely up there.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with that. So many people have been involved with that. That's definitely worth a podcast on its own.
Yeah,
James Bond music. So we'll do that.
Yeah, because I've definitely got. Yeah, there's a lot we can talk about there. I think that can definitely be its own podcast. Because
Thunderball, Tom Jones fainted.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah,
no drop-ins, no drop-ins when recording.
Yeah,
no comping. Just he had to sing it in one go.
Insane.
Yeah,
powerhouse.
Yeah, he fainted.
Yeah,
and then we could also talk about the story about Nancy Sinatra as well.
Yeah,
allegedly, allegedly with the vocals. Yeah, because there's two actual versions of that.
Yeah,
and so that would probably be quite.
A great pod. I think for me, one last thing. I think it's on You Only
Live Twice?
You Only Live Twice.
Yeah.
I love the strings in that song. Da, 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 da. Really lush strings. I know Robbie Williams has sampled that in Millennium, but I just really, really love those strings. Certain things stick out to me, and the strings on that I think are so nice.
We'll definitely do a Bond. We'll definitely do a Bond podcast.
Yeah.
We'll do that in the second season.
Yeah.
And we'll get you to vote in what your
favourite theme or
your favourite song.
Yeah.
And
also songs that maybe could have been using for the Bond films that weren't as well would be an interesting topic.
That would be good.
But I digress. Back to the
the
point in hands.
So another soundtrack.
Oh God. Okay. James Bond. No, joking. What else can I? Who else I really enjoy? Actually, weirdly, Toy Story. I think it really suits the family sort of friendly vibe. I think is it Randy Newman. There's a lot of, especially in the first one, with some really, really nice music in there. Really just wholesome, kind of classic songwriting. Really matches the tone. You Got a Friend in Me has become synonymous with the first film. What a perfect choice, a movie about toys. You Got a Friend in Me.
I thought I had it to hand there, but
you've got it somewhere. I've seen it, but that's also what prompted me actually to remember. I think You Got a Friend in Me, classic.
Or Disney.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Disney. Exactly.
Now picks up a Toy Story. Yeah. That's pre-Disney actually with Randy Newman.
Yeah.
But that's not the first time Randy Newman's contributed to film soundtracks. There's the You Can Leave Your Hat On from 9.5 Weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, people go on about the Full Monty, Tom Jones doing it. But personally, that version is nowhere near the Joe Cocker version or even the Randy Newman original. Yeah. The Joe Cocker version basically says what it does when you see the film. Amazing. Absolutely amazing playing. But coming back to Toy Story, as soon as that plays in the film, you're in.
Yeah. Yeah, and honestly, I think it really, I think it matches the tone perfectly. You know, it's matches so spot on. His voice, the lyrical content, the arrangement of it's just bang on the money. And again, it's one of those ones that sonically, it's Sonic. It's like the Sonic kind of character to the film. And when you think of Toy Story, a lot of people think of like a film as well, particularly from your childhood. You know, it's really kind of nostalgic.
Just great.
Yeah,
it's just great, and it sums the movie. It sums all four movies up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's bang on the money there.
It's been, and you couldn't take it away from the film either. They do Toy Story 5.
Yeah.
It will be there, you know, and it will be in there. Yeah, he's really good. That song is, again, you know, we could talk about Toy Story, couldn't we? It's, I don't know which movie out of those four is my favourite. They're all great.
They're all really, really good.
Possibly the second one would have to go to the toy shop.
Yeah, with Ours Toy Barn.
Yeah,
the Chicken Man.
That's right. Yeah. No, where the Rex finds the computer game book with the cheats in it.
Yeah.
How to cheat the computer game. I didn't know that it existed.
So many good parts.
Yeah.
It's just perfect.
Yeah, I agree. But the music's great in those films.
Yeah.
You know, just absolutely super.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, with Toy Story, you know, I said pre-Toy Story because Pixar, when they first got that and put all that together, Disney didn't own it. But now that we mentioned Disney, my favourite Disney soundtrack has to be The Jungle Book.
Ooh, yeah.
The songs on The Jungle Book.
Yeah.
It was one of the first films that I ever saw. I know I've spoken about my Nan and Elvis.
Yeah.
But that movie, I remember being very little, sitting in a cinema, and the animation of the jungle opening up, going through the jungle, and that music.
Yeah.
That music
really
pulled me in.
Yeah.
And I remember I can, you know, even if I never ever saw it again, it's so difficult if you're going to have songs that you haven't heard to stay in your head, even as a child or an adult. That song for me probably has it all. I mean, I remembered the songs when I left, you know. So there was the King Louis song, which was not Louis Armstrong, it was Louis Jordan.
Yeah.
I Want to Be Like You. There was the Bare Necessities.
Oh, so many classics.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
You know,
and the songs that still hold up to today.
Yeah, I agree.
Really good songwriting, catchy hooks, fun. You know, you can listen to it with the whole family, kids, whatever. It's just really wholesome.
And Disney were great at that. And I mean, they still are. But then you look at some of those older animations that they did. He's a Tramp, Peggy Lee, in Lady and the Tramp.
Yep.
Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And they maintained it. I mean, they moved with the times. Things like Lion King.
Yeah.
Don't have that same kind of romanticism to me, but I'm in a minority. You know, I mean, you know, Lion King, huge.
Yeah, no, it's true. And you kind of got me thinking now.
Circle of Life.
So it's a circle of life. Yeah, you know, Elton John's voice. You know,
Tim Rice's lyrics.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is Tim Rice. Yeah, and Elton John, and massive. You know, again, ballads that kind of go hand in hand. When you think of the film, kind of go hand in hand. It's kind of got me thinking as well. The sort of pairings like Elton John and Disney. Tarzan movie, I'm not sure if that was Disney, but Phil Collins on the soundtrack.
Did it? I don't know.
Absolutely.
About that
oh, trust me. If for my generation, Phil Collins went in. He really went hard on it, and it was, you know, You'll Be in My Heart, and there's another one. It's just really, really top soundtrack. Actually, you have to listen to it because it's really, you know, Phil Collins is an absolute powerhouse, and this soundtrack. You know, it's really, it's got a soft spot. And a lot of my generation and my friends, if you say Tarzan, a lot of people think of the soundtracks. Phil Collins delivered.
Yeah, you have Disney soundtrack. A lot of time and thought has gone into the majority of their soundtracks. You know, their sync and stuff. Yeah, Jungle Book for me, but yeah, that's really good. But I don't. So that's new to me. I don't know. I know they released it.
Yeah.
I know. I never.
Phil Collins. It was massive. There's some real kind of feel good songs in there. Big kind of epic sort of really good. It really matches the tone. You know, the energy levels and the fun of Tarzan. Really good.
Yeah, he did. He acted in a film and he did a track on it as well. He did the soundtrack. Buster. which was about the great train robbers.
Yeah.
And Buster, I don't know his surname. I don't know a lot about it, but I know he had Groovy Kind of Love.
Yeah.
He did a cover of it.
Yeah.
And he played Buster, who ended up being a flower stall seller at, might have been Waterloo Station, I'm not sure. And it was the film from, you know, get involved with the robbery to get out of prisons. It's coming out or whatever. It was huge in this country.
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast. Another Disney movie.
Yeah. Big.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Disney doesn't understand the value of good music in a song, and obviously they've got the budget to clear pretty much anything.
Oh, but going back to Pixar, and songs on Pixar, The Incredibles.
Oh,
the opening of that, if I remember rightly, is actually the Propeller Heads, which I think may have been produced by David Arnold. I'm not sure, who did a spin-off. He was the James Bond composer.
Yeah.
Did a spin-off album which we'll talk about when we do the podcast. But he was involved with the Propellerheads, and they did a great version of On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Yep.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That version is at the beginning of the first Incredibles movie, and it works.
Yeah, great. Again,
well, it would work.
Yeah. I think David Arnold's a genius, and
that's right.
Spot on actually.
Yeah,
The
Incredible,
great film. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Pixar proving that even before Disney were involved with them, they were really good at
making great animations, great soundtracks, great choices.
Anyway, come away from Pixar. I've got a great soundtrack here, which is more of an indie soundtrack.
Yeah. Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
Classic. That's a very good point as well, actually.
Yeah.
Very indie.
Yeah.
Not Pixar at all.
Made by an indie company, New Line Cinema.
Yep.
But it's got the legendary Crash on it by the Primitives.
Yep.
Yeah. By the way, there's a bit in that movie that still makes me laugh every time I see it. Is the bit where the guy with the briefcase who's after him, who wants the briefcase, hitchhikes a lift off of him. We don't normally give lifts to strangers.
Yeah.
And he's sitting in the middle of them in the van.
Yeah.
Going along. What's the most irritating noise you can think of? You know what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic
Mockingbird. Singing Mockingbird, yeah.
Oh, such a good film.
But there's some great tracks on it. There's a lot of British acts on it. Again, the Proclaimers were on it.
Yeah.
Echo Belly were on it.
Echo Belly.
One of the best, most underrated Britpop bands.
That's a very fair point, actually. Yeah.
And again, it was made by an indie movie company. It was made by New Line Cinema. But the soundtrack was very, very indie as well, at the time. And it was a mixture of sort of British, European and North American acts put together.
Yeah.
The one track that's missing from that soundtrack, the original soundtrack when it came out, this is the American US release. As you can see, it also says not for sale. It was a promo at the time. Is Apache Indian is not on there.
No.
Yeah, it's in the film all the time.
So it's like, again, a clearance issue.
Who was a British act who was signed to Island Records, but for some reason on the American album, it's been put on now because it's been reissued. But at the time, there was probably, because of course when you put sync, you put a track on for a movie, you've still got to negotiate the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Tarantino, nearly all the tracks are on the soundtrack. Funny enough, going back to Pulp Fiction, the one track which was in Reservoir Dogs and is in Pulp Fiction, which is Stuck in the Middle with You, was never on the original Pulp Fiction soundtrack release on that one. But it is now.
Yeah, again, it's
now.
pretty iconic, that film again. Yeah, you think of that, I think of Pulp Fiction.
Well, the deals are different. An artist gets a track on a soundtrack. The contrast, it works out on a site. It's not slightly. It's a very different way. It's quite.
Yeah.
You get a track on a soundtrack. It's good, especially if it sells.
Yeah.
But Dumb and Dumber, I thought it was a really good soundtrack, and that was Carey's second film, I think, for New Line.
Yeah.
After The Mask.
Yeah, and again, Mask is a great film.
Yeah, that's over there, and with The Mask, it's he's singing in that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a lot he can't do.
No, not again, a very great, funny man, great actor. Just
Yeah, he can certainly do it. I mean, there's no doubt. Even now, he certainly can do it. So, what? Another soundtrack?
Oh, okay, and slightly different, but I think it's definitely worthwhile and very, very notable mention because it's amazing. The Blues Brothers. in terms of the track list, that you could buy the soundtrack without seeing the film, and you've got a very, very good album in your hands. You can just,
Well, that's a proper soundtrack because all of that soundtrack is all re-records by practically the original band.
yeah, mostly originals.
Booker T, you know,
and the MGs. Yeah.
And they've pulled some of the old Atlantic artists like Aretha back in.
Aretha.
Who is it? Who is it? Oh no, we don't want to give away the end of the film.
No.
Folks. We don't want to give away the end. It's just an old famous sort of jazz musical star at the end of the film, and with a band or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's a great soundtrack.
So good. Like I said, you could have not seen the film, but buy the soundtrack and you've got an amazing album on your hands just because it's full of stacked of classics. You know, it's stacked with classics from Stax, ironically, with Booker T and the MGs. But I think it's really, really solid.
Normally, the Dan Aykroyd films normally have any movie that Dan Aykroyd is actually involved in normally has some kind of strong musical content.
Yeah.
Even if there's no musical performance in it.
Yeah.
It's Ghostbusters.
Oh, what a theme tune!
Ray Parker Jr., who was given no time at all.
Yeah.
To actually come up with
The theme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can come up with that track.
Yeah.
And that's a great story, that movie, how it was made. And it's about to come out again.
For like the fifth incarnation of whatever they keep chugging out now.
And he wrote it, you know, not the song, he wrote the movie, you know, apparently. So,
wow.
And we'll see it'll be. It'll probably be, would you reckon it'll be the same song?
Again, it's so iconic.
It's got to be.
It's got to be. I don't think you can. You might put some new arrangements in there, but I think the body of it itself is going to be, because that is just as famous as the film. You know, who are you going to call? That slogan is just so. Yeah, it's perfect for the film.
Yeah,
catches. It's a great song regardless of the film. It's a great song by itself, but then paired with that film, it's perfect.
Yeah, I think so. But the one thing that we really have to talk about with music and music sync in films has to be.
Drum roll, please.
This.
Iconic, legendary, epic.
Oh, I mean, we'll do a whole podcast on that.
That was a Spinal Tap. For people listening just on podcast, that was Spinal Tap.
This is Spinal Tap. Yes. Revolutionary, life-changing was for me.
Yep. It started a whole.
I stopped playing heavy metal when I saw that.
Really?
Yeah. I was out on a date, went to see it, and as I was watching it, I really was a kid as well. I wasn't very old at all, but watching it, I was like, I'm not playing this music anymore. I don't want to be really associated with playing this music.
Can't be, not for me anymore.
And I went to see it by chance because there was a local radio program. That said there's this movie coming out about heavy metal music called This Is Spinal Tap. That's all I heard. So when I went to see it, I'll repeat this again when we do the podcast. It started, I wasn't quite sure if they were acting or not, but the music.
Yeah.
We'll only touch on it today, but some of the music.
Some of the tracks are unreal.
Just fantastic.
Very much of the time, bang on, like culturally at the time, just so on the point, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's just superb.
Yeah.
The songs, and the band plays, the actors play them, They're actually playing the songs.
Yeah.
And they've written them as well, specifically for the film. And I also have an involvement with them as well, years after that, which, again, I will save. So that's just a taster. We will definitely do a podcast on Spinal Tap.
You can talk about that till the cows come home. It's
you'd love to get them in, wouldn't you? That would just be out of this world, really. It's probably about time they released a new album. About time they did a film.
Yeah,
they filmed so much stuff over the years. There's probably
enough content.
To
put it together.
Yeah, all I'll say is Spinal Tap Mark II. When they do, they do the gig or whatever.
Yeah.
So that is, we would definitely do a whole complete podcast on that. But that's you've actually reminded me something really interesting. There was, we're talking about the James Bond music franchise.
Yeah.
There was one in the 80s, Back to the Future.
Oh, classic. Yeah, how could we miss Back to the Future?
which has now got a new life. It's a musical in the West
yeah,
End.
musical in West End. It's gone. It's become real just iconic piece of cinema. Yeah,
Yeah. And there's all sorts of stuff used on that. The sync tracks that they actually used in that film, as well as the tracks that were commissioned for that film.
Mm-hmm.
So there was three. There was Huey Lewis and the News.
Yep.
That recorded
Power of Love.
Power of Love. I can't remember. Whoever wrote that has written the musical.
Yeah.
The second one, I haven't seen that film as much as the first one. I'm trying to think who did the second one. The third one was ZZ Top.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was ZZ Top, definitely. They were in the film as well. Mm-hmm. If you remember, they played at the barn dance.
God, yeah, he did, didn't they? Oh, yeah.
And they had
good knowledge.
They had the guitars as
Yeah.
well that went round. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
The second one I can't remember. But the first movie was so Johnny Be Good.
Johnny Be
When
Good,
he's
Chuck
playing
Berry.
Johnny Be Good, yeah.
Yep, on stage at
Yeah.
a prom.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, great scene.
Yeah.
When he introduces rock and roll sound to the school. Yeah.
As a kid, I never saw that at the cinema.
Really?
No, I didn't see it till years later. It's,
Interesting.
I know.
Yeah.
Just too busy. Never
Yeah.
got. I went to see Spinal Tap, but I
Yeah.
didn't see that.
Back to the Future, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's a franchise, you know.
Yeah, oh, massive.
You know, if they ever would have made a fourth one, there would have been another song,
Yeah.
you know, from the film.
Little bit, yeah, that's very true. But then the third film is a lot of people aren't as keen on the third as the first one. So maybe,
No, the first movie's a
yeah,
classic.
had they made a fourth one, would they have been starting to run the franchise into the ground? Is a whole other question.
That's true. But there would have been a song.
Yeah,
for
that
it,
would have been a massive hit. Yeah, exactly. It'd have been
Yeah,
key.
definitely. Yes, Back to the Future, brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
A great shout.
Yeah, brilliant. In fact, when the movie starts, it's the instrumental of Power of Love
Yes.
with no vocals.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
He's
it's-
on his skateboard.
It sets a tone straight away, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Kind of, and that kind of, yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, really, really interesting.
Let's have another one, the money.
Well, I'm going to talk about these. I'm going to talk about something more recent, and I'm going to talk about Iron Man. Yeah,
Great shout.
and I mean, Ramin Djawadi did the first soundtrack for the first film, but there was also the AC/DC soundtrack as well, so it came out as
Yeah.
two different
Yeah.
versions.
Yeah.
Digitally, I'm absolutely sure you could probably get both as one. But seeing that film, I remember I saw that at the cinema. I remember the track "Shoot to Thrill,"
Yeah.
where he gets his backpack working.
Yeah.
When he escaped. Oh, no, don't want to give too much away, folks. But
Spoiler alert. Although this,
yeah.
this film
Spoiler
is
alert.
several years old by
Yeah.
now, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah. Spoiler alert, definitely.
Yeah.
So
But it's a massive track, actually. I think, seeing that in the cinema, I think AC/DC are a band that sounds amazing when played louder. So in the cinema, it must have sounded wicked in that scene.
and they're not on too many soundtracks. You
No.
know, that's the.
No.
I think they value. I think they value their songs. You
Yeah.
know, and are very. I think they do control their rights or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think they're very, very choosy on.
Yeah.
Well, that's really that's a really good point, because it's like with adverts, music on adverts, which does come under film and TV, really
Yeah.
sync, and you don't really hear the Beatles on adverts. Very, very occasionally, well, just very rarely.
Yeah.
You don't hear the Beatles. Led Zeppelin is very. In fact, I've only heard Led Zeppelin on one ad,
Yeah.
which I think was a couple of Christmases ago, which was Christian Dior,
Yeah.
and it was Whole Lot of Love.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was it.
You never.
That was
Led
it.
Zeppelin, yeah.
Even if their music doesn't, it's only the same tracks. Kashmir, Immigrant Song.
Well, the Immigrant Song was in School of Rock, but there was a scene on a special features disc where they were literally like almost begging the management to let them include it in the film, because they're very kind of picky and choosy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And they really had to fight apparently
Yeah.
to get that approved in the
Yeah.
film
I've seen that.
Yeah.
He pleads to the camera.
on stage. Or yeah.
Yeah, he pleads. And yeah, those acts in particular. I mean, I've seen some ads recently. Oh, the Budweiser ad has, or it's a beer ad. There you go. It's a beer ad, and it's got Bob Dylan's "Blowing in the Wind," but the subject of the advert doesn't really relate to what the song is actually about.
Yeah.
It's a bit odd, you know. So when you
Yeah.
watch, it's such a beautiful song, and it's such a it's one of the greatest protest songs
Yeah.
ever written, you
Yeah.
know, whatever. He sold his catalogue recently, and can't blame him really. And
No.
basically, a lot of his music now is going to start appearing on ads. You sort of, sometimes you see ads and there's music, and sometimes it just doesn't work. Mm-hmm. It's, you know, it'd be like some real iconic track
Yeah.
or song or hit, you know, and it's sort of on the ad, and it's sort of, okay, it's there to sell the product or whatever, but the song was never written
Yeah.
for.
No, exactly. It's kind of yeah. They've taken on a big song, haven't they? Because they just know it's recognisable. Yeah, and there's no link at all to what it is they're trying to flog, which is probably more of a comment on mainstream marketing than anything else.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I would definitely agree with that. Oh, going back to people that don't like their music on ads and stuff. You've only just recently seen Bowie stuff start appearing on ads.
You heard one with changes on was recently.
Yeah, that was another one. That
Yeah.
was. I mean, Heroes is used a lot, but it's normally used for. It's a subject, you know,
Yeah.
which you can you can use or whatever. But it is very odd sometimes when you see a track and it's like, well, I really know that track really, really well.
Yeah.
And it's why I know why you've synced it up with the ad.
Yeah.
But the kind of credibility sometimes goes out
Yeah.
of the
window.
door. But then sometimes it really, really works.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of we'll put a link on here for you all, so you can actually view it. Especially those of you outside of the UK. There was an ad done about 3 or 4 years ago. Well, actually, it's actually the chocolate candy company Cadbury's went through a phase of making some really unusual
Oh yeah, I know where this is going.
adverts.
Yeah.
And the first one was In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins.
Yeah.
And it just worked.
Yeah.
Song had nothing to do with a bar of chocolate, but it was a gorilla behind a drum kit.
Yeah. It was
playing.
a really great advert. 'Cause I remember, like, it was that camera shot really slowly kind of showing what was going on.
Yeah.
And then it kind of put it together, and it's a gorilla band drum kit just in time for the boo 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 ba ba. What has that got to do with chocolate? I have no
Fantastic.
idea. But it was a quality advert.
And then the next one, they had the two kids in
Little
there
eyebrows.
with the eyebrows.
Yeah.
Was that Mantronics or was that African Bambaataa or somebody?
It was someone. Yeah, I forget who it was. But again, a very great advert. Really,
Yeah.
catching your attention.
Absolutely superb. Those kind of things really, really work. And
Yeah.
they're great fun as well.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely
And it's
different.
ingenious,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
If it's an ad copywriter or a
Yeah.
director that's actually
Yeah.
put that together.
Yeah.
That's where sync really works at its best, like in a movie.
Yeah.
I will tie it up here with going back to Pulp Fiction,
Yeah.
because with the sync, normally when we reckon Tarantino writes scripts, I think I may have read it, I'm sure you have, that when he's writing a script, he can hear the song, the sync underneath of a passage that he's actually written.
Yeah.
So in that film, where we just don't want to, if you haven't seen it, although nearly everybody's seen it, we don't want to give too much of it away. But let's just say there's two of the main parts in it are basically going round to sort somebody out.
Yeah.
And they're playing Jungle Boogie by Kool and the Gang. Dum ba dum ba
Yeah.
dum bum bum. But
Yeah.
it's just
perfect.
And it's going up and up and up, and
Yeah.
it's in the background.
Yeah.
And they're on a mission somewhere. They're fantastic.
Yeah, brilliant.
You know,
Great storytelling, great cinematography, great choice of music. Everything is on point.
and interestingly, in the days of streaming, and in the days of playlisting that we're in now, soundtracks are still as popular as they ever were.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that they can make or break a film; they can just they can change a film.
Yeah.
And especially the Tarantino films. Jackie Brown's another one, by
Yeah.
the way. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Brilliantly devised with the music that's actually put in it. So we'd like to know what your favourite soundtracks are, and they could be really, really cult stuff. So if you go on to www.realitijukebox.com, all our links will be on there.
Yeah.
We'll also put them up on screen for you as well.
Yeah.
And just let us know. And that would be...
I'm sure we've missed some real massive ones in there.
Oh, we have.
You know,
But in time restraint,
we could talk all day about this.
Definitely. So thanks for listening and thanks for watching.
Thank you.
And we're going to do a part 2 as well, which is going to be about composers in film
scores
and TV. Yep. And we wish you well, and we shall see you the next time.
Until next time.
Thank you. See you soon.